Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Chances are likely you are here because we have been advertising it, and chances are also likely you're here because, well, you're familiar with Brawl Fan 1's Smash updates, in which we all just kind of get together to discuss updates and things Smash-related, but we decided we kind of want to expand this and talk about a bunch of other things. So, here we are. I am Danny, also known as RoushutsuRises, and I have got Brawl Fan 1.
Oh, hi.
I got Supersonic 407.
Oh.
And we have PlatinumRhythm.
What's up?
Alrighty, so, yeah, as you can see, I'm taking the reins over for this video. We'll probably switch off depending on topics. But this first topic, we wanted to talk about a particular game that at least BJ, Brandon, and myself are very familiar with. Sadly, Ryan has yet to get this game. He really should.
Wait,
but
what?
He's going to kind of approach this in the dark. So, it'll be interesting to hear his reactions. But we're going to talk about Fire Emblem Awakening for the Nintendo 3DS. And
quite possibly
that game.
Quite possibly the best game on the 3DS as of now.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I really, really like Fire Emblem Awakening.
Okay, yeah, you got me there. I have never played Fire Emblem Awakening. Actually, you know what? That's true. I never actually played Fire Emblem in general.
And before Fire Emblem Awakening, neither of any of us. So.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, this was the game that kind of introduced us into the Fire Emblem series. I know we're really late to it, but you know what? Better late than never.
Well, technically, the first Fire Emblem game I played but haven't beaten was Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones. But
also, you beat us to it.
Well, kind of, sort of, but I just never beat that game, and I didn't. I forget why I left off when I played that game for a little bit, but I just know that this isn't my first Fire Emblem game, but it's the first Fire Emblem game that I've really gotten into. I will say that much.
Okay, but basically, we're not going to sit here and talk about everything Fire Emblem Awakening, because if we do, we're going to be here forever. So we're instead going to focus on what we believe to be the strongest element that this game has to offer, and that is its cast of characters.
Yes,
make no mistake. The gameplay is solid, and the story is good. But the characters really made this game for me.
Probably the reason why I've replayed this game's plot, probably, I want to say over a good 10 times.
Yeah, same here. But,
I've still beat the game, but okay.
Yeah. Now, I don't know about you, Brandon, and BJ, and I guess you guys can explain what you really like with the characters, but I guess as far as where I'm coming from, I'm coming from a background of a lot of the games when I was growing up, and some of the games I still do like to play. I like to play RPGs, specifically like JRPGs. And I don't know about you guys, but with the exception of like Ni no Kuni and like Persona 4, I have been really starved of some good JRPGs this past generation, and usually JRPGs are where I tend to find some of my favorite video gaming characters. And I think because I have been just so starved of finding good JRPGs with really good characters and everything, that even though Fire Emblem Awakening technically isn't an RPG, it's got elements of it, but it's technically not. It's a strategy game. The way these characters are, how diverse and entertaining they are, it's like they're the kinds of characters I expect out of a JRPG. So these are the kinds of characters I have been missing for a very long time.
Indeed, every character just has some aspect to them that is just very likable. I remember all of these characters. Yeah, there are some that I like more than others, obviously, but all of these characters are just so well written, and they're so delved into. It's just like, how can you not like them? They're so relatable. They're funny. They're serious when they have to be. They're just, oh my gosh, I love them all.
I could kiss them. Oh wait, what?
Yeah. And and that really says something where, because this is a strategy game, the cast of characters is very large. Because it's a strategy game, and each character has like their own specific roles, what they're best at, their classes and everything, that you pick and choose to build your army. And you have I don't even recall the exact number of possible characters.
I want to say there's close to 30. And the fact that all of them are this well written and this likable, that's an impressive feat on its own.
Yeah, that beats like the likes of freaking Square, where I love Final Fantasy VI, make no mistake, but that cast of characters that you have in Final Fantasy VI is like, I think like 12 or 13. I mean, I'll have to double check, but it's a relatively large number for a typical JRPG cast. And not even all of them were well or properly developed.
Now, that being said, because there's so many, how about we stop the rambling here and get right to them, shall we?
Yes, I agree. So let's start with the avatar, or more, I guess, the official name that none of us ever really used. The official name is Robin.
Yes, Robin is the very first character you begin with, essentially. But the character that's supposed to represent oneself. He or she is a customizable character, but that can go between gender. You can change the hairstyle, the voice, the face, even the build of the character. So you have a lot of options.
Right.
Okay.
But that being said, a big difference that Robin has here as a self persona that most other, I guess, playable avatar protagonists don't have are. Robin is actually a speaking protagonist. He or she actually has a built-in personality within the game.
Yeah, that's probably what I was going to say, is that, the character's got, you've already got an established backstory. There is a personality and a character in there. It's just pretty much your input is, what does the character look like? And obviously when you start going into battling, how do you want where do you want this character? Like, what class do you want? How do you want to build their skills?
Yes, Robin is the only character in the game that can be any class, with the depending on the gender. There are a couple of classes that are gender specific, but essentially they can be any class.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and it's like normally I would say we go into the backstory behind Robin, but it is so freaking It is so freaking intensive, and plus...
and that reminds me. We may as well get this out of the way now. Spoilers!
Yeah, so...
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. Right.
If you don't want to be spoiled with this game before you play it, stop watching now. Don't go complaining to us that we spoiled the game for you without warning. We warned you now. If I see even one comment, I'm going to hate you forever. Continue, Danny.
Should I leave, then?
No, you're the exception.
I'm just
telling you whether you like it or not.
Okay.
Right. The thing with Robin, what actually I find really fascinating with Robin, and this goes with the fact that Fire Emblem Awakening is essentially a time travel story, and you essentially see two sides to Robin. The side that you play is, the good guy, very intelligent, very compassionate, very smart, basically your entire army is like this person's family.
Also, might I add, very, very spunky, too.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that's at least one side. But then you got the other side, which is, it's kind of weird to explain, and I kind of don't want to go into all the details just because, again, we'll be here forever and we got so many other characters to go through.
To summarize it, essentially, in the future, this evil dragon essentially take control over Robin's willpower and turns him or her evil.
Right, and that's really the second half. That's where you can see, okay, the strategy, the intelligence, and everything. You've been playing it on the side of good. You also get to see this on the side of evil, which I actually found to be pretty interesting with the way they had set this up in the game. So that actually helps flesh out Robin's character.
It really does, because we get to know Robin as a character, even though he or she's supposed to represent us. We get to know him or her as a character, and she, like Danny explained, he's really compassionate. Really. He very intelligent. He most of the time he's just helping his fellow comrades, And then we see later on when the evil version of Robin comes in, it's just this diabolical, very ruthless character, but it's still the same exact person, and you just feel so whiplashed because you're sitting here going, this is nothing like who I am at all. Like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess another one of the things I actually find actually helps enhance the story is in Fire Emblem Awakening, there is a I guess you can call, like, any Persona fans out there, I guess this is similar to social links, where when you partner up with people in battle, they can give each other buffs on the battlefield, but you can also get these fun little conversations in between, going from map to map.
They're called support logs, essentially, and the more often characters pair up with each other in battle, the more the stronger they become the next time they pair up.
Right, but this also leads to marriages. So, depending on what you do and who you pair up with, it can actually help enhance the story with Robin. Like,
and this isn't just the case with Robin. This is the case with every character. So.
Well, yeah, no, but it's very, very apparent with Robin.
Yeah, because Robin can be paired with, like, certain characters could only be paired with certain characters. Robin can pair with everybody. So.
No, yeah, but what I'm saying is that if Robin is paired up with Chrom, and Chrom is Lucina's father, and Lucina comes back from the future and everything, there's a scene, I'd say, closer towards the end of the game, where Lucina basically is like, okay, I know who Grima is, I know who you are, to save the future from destruction, I have to kill you. If Robin is married to Chrom, this would make Robin Lucina's mom. So that actually develops and enhances the story a little bit, because now Lucina is, conflicted with having to kill her own mother. Or if you're playing a male Robin, you can actually marry Lucina. So then Lucina gets conflicted because she has to kill her husband.
So what you're saying is it's possible that Lucina could go and try to kill Robin so that she can save her own future.
It's hilarious, though, when you marry Lucina, because Robin and Chrom, we'll get into Chrom next, they're like best friends. Like, doesn't matter who Chrom marries, doesn't matter who you marry. Like, they're best, like they're the closest friends. So I only imagine Chrom's reaction was like, by the way, buddy, I'm marrying your daughter.
What? I am now starting to question our friendship.
But either way, but yes, that is very convincing. But one thing I feel definitely helps drive Robin even more, and we failed to yet mention this. Robin actually, from the beginning of the game, Robin actually suffers from amnesia. But it's a very odd case of amnesia, because he seems to know people's names, like, well, Chrom's name initially. It takes him a second to remember his own name. He also still has, like, all this tactitional knowledge and knows all these strategic strategies. That was very redundant, but either way, we find out later what causes this amnesia, and it was due to the evil Robin. But regardless, like, it's because of this amnesia, it helps develop Robin's character. Because we see, like, there are a bunch of instances, like a big one, for example, is if you buy the DLC Summer Pack and have Robin's conversation with Chrom, we see Chrom there, like, messing up with some beach stuff, but we find out that Chrom's trying to make new memories for Robin, because he or she doesn't really have any to begin with. So, so the amnesia thing does help with a lot of Robin's character development, as well as people's reactions towards Robin.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, and I think, like, suffice to say, it's like, yeah, BJ, like, I've played this game so many times, and it's like, I keep hooking Robin up with so many people just to see what happens. So it's like, I mean,
we'll obviously get more into those kinds of things, into those kinds of things once we get to later characters.
But I guess, like, as far as like a favorite relationship, at least from what I've played so far, I'd have to say I really like the relationship between Robin and Chrom.
That is a very nice one, and you know what? Let's go ahead and get into Chrom right now.
Alright then. So I guess we'll be going back to Robin occasionally throughout these characters when we start talking about their other character interactions. But let's pretty much go into the second main character, and that would be Chrom.
Chrom. This game's equivalent to Marth and Ike and so on. Pretty much the character we feel is going to end up being in the next Smash Brothers. Like the
next Smash, and if he isn't, there will be hell to pay.
Yeah, Chrom is the prince of the current land we're in. You know, he's a royal, and surprisingly enough, when I came into this game and I first saw Chrom, I just figured, oh, he's going to be the generic leader type, you know, the big, you know, moral support guy. He's going to be. I'll stop myself there when saying no, because Chrom is just so much more human than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Like Chrom isn't he's nothing like Marth. Like Marth, I believe, was just this just this big, let's get to it, come on friends, let's go. You're my friend, I'm going to help you. Chrom is like that in some respects, but he's definitely more believably relatable. He's very human. He makes mistakes. He feels sorry for what he does. There's even parts where he gets very awkward. Like bring it back to Robin. If you're playing the female Robin, and this is like one of the most hysterical supports in the game, there's actually a point where if you have the female Robin and you support with Chrom accidentally walks in on Robin taking a shower.
Wait.
And he just feels so awkward about it. He's just like,
wait.
I'm
sorry, hold on. Does this happen regardless of what gender your avatar is?
No.
No.
It only happens with female
okay.
Robin.
All right.
With male Robin, the two basically get all like, buddy and everything. Like, they pretty much become brother in arms. This is female Robin. So, yeah, this is pretty much how Chrom and Robin's relationship starts.
And then directly afterwards, Robin accidentally walks in on Chrom taking a bath, and she starts throwing shit at him. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah, and then by the time everything is done, they just shrug it off. It's like, okay, we got nothing to hide anymore.
Well,
and then if you take it a step further, we've seen each other naked. Let's get married.
Oh.
Admittedly, that's not very realistic, but that's just so fucking funny that it's like, you know what? I don't care.
You know what? Yeah, might as well.
That was just a very blunt statement of what I said, of how it actually went. But really, it ties back into how human Chrom is, because as he's trying to propose to Robin, if you choose for him to marry Robin, he gets really awkward. He's just like, oh my, I don't know how to do. Like, I like you, but I don't know. It gets so awkward. He gets so awkward. He says like one of the funniest lines. It's like, I'm sorry if I'm coming on like a wyvern in heat.
Ooh.
I was on the floor laughing so hard when he said that.
All right then.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that's probably one of the funnier relationships that Chrom has. For the most part, his other ones aren't too bad, although it's important to note Chrom's one of the few characters where I guess like his roster of potential girlfriends is actually very limited.
Yes, and that's mostly because there's very few girls for him to actually be with, because unlike all the other characters, I believe it was at chapter 11, Chrom has to marry somebody for the sake of the story.
Yeah.
So at that point, yeah, he can only marry so many female characters. Honestly, a lot of them are rather lame. I won't spoil exactly who these characters are just yet. But there's one where she makes him a bunch of pies, and then Chrom's like, "Oh, she makes me pies. I'll marry this woman." And then there's another one where she's really tough, and Chrom enjoys sparring with her, and then she proposes to him, and he's just a little awkward about it, but he ultimately accepts and stuff like that. Really, the most romantic one that's really believably romantic is the one between Chrom and Robin. There is another one that is pretty cool, which you have to go through incredibly, really just some weird circumstances to do, and you'll know who I'm talking about. Where it was one of those like, oh, I met you on the battlefield, now I love you, like one of those things. So it's like there is one relationship. I don't know if you've gone through with it, BJ, but I know I have, and that's with his little sister's best friend. That's a really good one too. I've yet to see that one.
Yeah. Next time you play, go through that relationship. That one's actually very.
In fact, that's the one that I've yet to go through. So.
Yeah, that one's very cute, and that's the approach of where, okay, I mean, she is a noble, but she's naturally not as high ranking or anything, compared to a prince. So even though she's been with that she's been familiar with the royal family for many years, she's best friends with Chrom's little sister, so she knows who Chrom is. She's grown up with them, and basically the angle they're going with is that she's always loved him, but she never felt that, she was good enough to be his wife or anything. Because of the rank.
I'll go ahead and say that right now. A lot of the girls in this roster kind of have that familiar trend.
Right, but with her specifically, it's because of her noble rank. Like, she's like, we're both nobles, but you're a prince, and I'm a lowly person. I'm a low-ranking noble. And, you've got all of these, ladies of court that are waiting on your every hand and foot. Why would you want somebody?
Yeah, okay, we'll get to that when we get to her. So
yeah, it is very.
But back to Chrom. Like, we talked about a lot of why we find Chrom so funny. Like, in terms of making Chrom as a good serious character as well. He's very headstrong. But he's also the kind of guy who will do anything to protect his friends, like especially his family and his closer friends.
Yes.
Chrom is like the kind of person who I believe is the exact embodiment of what a leader should be. Like, he's not afraid to be open. He's not afraid to take things seriously when it needs to be. He's not afraid to be funny at times around his closest friends and all that stuff. I truly believe, like you say, Chrom is like one of those characters that a lot of people could possibly relate to, and I absolutely agree with that.
Chrom is also very compassionate. And this is actually another familiar one, another one that thankfully this game has. He's also very understanding. Like, you know what?
Exactly.
The very beginning of the game, it starts up the very first cutscene before you actually get into the meat of things begins with Robin killing Chrom on accident, and the first thing Chrom says is, "This isn't your fault. Get out of here. It's okay." Right before he drops dead. He's a very compassionate and understanding man towards his best friends.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the world could possibly grow to open their eyes and understand coming from Chrom. Like, not everyone in the world is as what's the word I'm looking for? Not everyone in the world is going to be as dangerous or as obscene as people would believe them to be just because the world is so unknown to them. But Chrom is the kind of person that doesn't care about any of that. Like, he'll see the good in something until otherwise noticed or something like that. And that's something that I just
not even then. There hasn't been a single time where someone did something wrong where Chrom immediately hated that person.
Exactly.
If he hated someone, it was because they did something wrong to begin with, and he really hated them for it, and they deserve to be hated.
And there are very, very few characters where I can say you can just see Chrom absolutely loathes this person. There's very, very few.
Yeah. And those are generally the really, really big bad guys, and there's a reason we hate them. There were times, we'll get into those characters when we get to them, but those were the characters that I wanted to punch in the face.
Yeah. And I guess and another thing that I personally really liked with Chrom, and again, this is probably just because of his main hero status and everything, but his relationship with Lucina, I've played a lot of games. And off the top of my head, I can't really name off a lot of video game characters where I can legitimately say they were good fathers. Chrom is one of the few game characters where I can say, not only is he a good man, he's a good father. Especially
considering the circumstance, because Lucina is Chrom's daughter who grew up and came, because Lucina, the present day Lucina, is only a baby. So when Lucina comes back in time, when she reveals herself to be Chrom's daughter, Chrom, he's obviously he's shooken by this. He's a little hesitant, but it doesn't take him long to pick up, this is my daughter, I need to protect her.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So I honestly feel like that a lot of the world could could come to just collectively wake up and take a lesson from Chrom at what the world
really,
and what leaders of our generation should be like.
And really, Chrom isn't the only character we can say that about. A lot of these characters we can say the same thing about.
True, but it's like, again, like a lot of the world could come to pick up from what Chrom is about, and the world could possibly just become a better place. Even though Chrom is just a video game character, he's one of those characters that speaks a message.
But even that being
to anyone
said,
who's
like
played
you said, even though he's a good role model character, he's still very human. Like I think one of his like the most notable traits, which is one of his most hysterical traits, is like when he gets angry at something, he tends to break shit.
Yeah, or like even like when he's sparring, he'll like they've said like he'll like roll into a wall and crack it, and it'll be pure accidents.
Yeah, like on those occasions it's accidents, but like the like on the DLC summer level, like he's trying to make a necklace out of seashells, but he sucks at it so terribly he ends up just smashing the seashells. So. But yeah, and then like I guess the last thing we'll bring up about him before we move on, like with one of the girls that he can marry, she's like a really shy girl, and Chrom's having trouble trying to connect with her, but he wants to be her friend. He's trying to like legitimately, because he figures, okay, I'm the captain, but how can I lead these people if I can't connect with them? I need to be this girl's friend. So he's just like, hey there, you, how's it going today? He's just being so. It's just hysterical.
He's so chummy about it.
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and move on to Chrom's little sister.
You are the wind at my back and the sword at my side. Together, my love, we shall build a peaceful world. Just you and me.